Hey everyone, I'm Abby. Kathy and I do the newsletter for you a couple times a month. All credit goes to Kathy. I just make the words kind of pretty. I am a writer. I also have a strong background in the neuroscience of behavior change, human behavior. And so I know that we are here to bring some positive energy. I am here to let you know that it is okay to feel all the things that you are feeling right now, and that there are ways to channel those feelings into action that is effective and doesn't just keep you up all night long. Although it will also keep you all night long sometimes if you're paying attention. Part one, New Year's Day. I wrote the first part of this piece on New Year's Day. We published it in our letter last week, and I was asked to read it aloud for you tonight. But of course, we've had a year's worth of news cycles since the new year. So last weekend, I had to write more. It was an attempt to keep up with everything. I'll share that at the end. Here's the first part. Forgive the humorous title. It was the Before Times, AKA 2 weeks ago. In late 2025, a video from Charlotte, North Carolina briefly captivated social media. It opens with a shot from a front porch toward a few figures on the lawn. The woman filming hurriedly opens the front door, says in a thick southern drawl, "Randy, they're in our yard," then lets the door slam as she strides to where two Latino men are hanging Christmas lights. She pans to an ICE agent stalking the men, puts her camera into his face and says a gruff "good morning" as he quickly pulls up his mask and moves away. She turns to a second agent who's already retreating toward their van as she approaches. The agents quickly get into the van and drive away as she says, "Get the hell out of my yard, you assholes." She then rushes back to the workers, says, "We'll take care of your stuff, you go," and ushers them to their car. As they drive off, she says to Randy, "We need to follow him. Someone has to follow him. I'll follow him." It's unclear whether she means follow the workers to protect them or follow the agents to warn others. Either way, it's clear that Randy can help or he can get out of the way. Now, of course, the comments were overflowing with, "Well, Randy's got his hands full." And to be honest, they made me smile. People had fallen in love with Randy's wife, and for good reason. She was brave. She was authoritative. She seemed like she'd be fun at a barbecue. And most importantly, she embodied the energy that many of us would like to be showing up with right now. In an interview with a local news station, Randy's wife, who does actually have a name, it's Rheba, said that the experience was absolutely terrifying. Footage of the situation taken from a neighbor's window shows that she was still in her purple nightgown, silver hair flying, when she confronted the agents. But in the interview, she also stands firm that there are good people in her community under attack, and that it's up to other good people to be protectors. There's a lot we can learn from this short encounter. So, to kick off our 2026 activism, I present to you lessons from Rheba. Number one, know the rules of the game and figure out where your power lies. Rheba clearly knew the laws at play. She knew that the second those agents stepped off of the public sidewalk and onto her personal property, the game changed. And as soon as those agents saw that she knew that, they ran. Number two, be strategic and use your tools. It's clear that Rheba had been watching those agents like a cat waiting to pounce, planning for the moment they stepped onto her lawn. When the time came, she sprang into action. She also, disclaimer, this part's gonna be controversial because the world's a complicated place. Rheba said in the interview that she had had her personal safety weapon with her. Of course, we're not all going to agree on what's right in any given situation. Your weapon might be your bucket drum or your protest sign, your postcard writing pen or your whistle. Use them. Number three, channel emotions into action. They She points in all directions, want you numb. They want to paralyze you with fear, with grief, with overwhelm. Don't let them. Feel all of it. Keep finding joy and humor, and please, for the love of all that is holy, keep loving each other hard. Also, let yourself feel the pain and the grief and the rage, and then channel that emotion into smart, strategic action, because hopelessness is a privilege. Don't let them bury your humanity. We can't afford it. Number 4, be brave, even in your nightgown. Rheba could have looked away. She could have hidden inside where she was safe. But she stood out on the lawn in her nightgown, morning hair flying, facing danger head on. I often wonder about the kind of person I would turn into under duress, and I hope that I will live up to my own expectations when the time comes. What would Rheba do became my new motto. In 2026, I vow to channel my inner Rheba, to stay tuned in, to take strategic action, and to be brave, even when it feels like it's just me in my nightgown facing a scary world. I hope we will all harness our courage, our cunning, and our caring, and move forward with grounded intention and laser focus. Part 2, last weekend. Sorry, not done yet. Thank you. The day of Renee Good's murder, I was walking my dogs and saw a lone gentleman with a protest sign standing at the four-way. We talked for a few minutes, and I asked him if I could take his picture for our newsletter. He said, "This is all I can think of to do. I work across the street. My boss is not thrilled that I'm doing this, but I have to do something, and it's all I can think of." I thanked him for being there, and as I turned to walk the dogs home, I called my mom. We cried together. Fuck, I'm gonna cry. And I asked, "Will you go stand with him?" She said, "I'm on my way." And if you know Carol, and a lot of you know Carol, you know that's what she said. I put out a request on our protest signal thread, took the dogs home, grabbed my giant American flag, joined my mom and our new friend at the four-way. Within 20 minutes, Kathy and James rolled up with signs and drums, and Kathy handed me a megaphone, and I think they're going to regret that from that day forward. A few minutes later after that, Leo came walking up with his drum. And then Rob pulled up, and it felt like the cavalry had arrived. We were small, but we were loud, and we got a ton of support from passersby. We also had a newsletter to put out the next day, and after protesting, Kathy and I worked frantically on everything we needed to include. There was, of course, heartbreak and rage on top of all the heartbreak and rage, but there was also the power of activism and community. The next day, Jonathan Ross's personal cell phone footage sent me over a cliff. I've been haunted by this exact question for decades. How many times have the words fucking bitch been spit out while a woman was raped or murdered or thrown against a wall? I'm guessing that most women who've experienced violence from a man, in other words, most women, felt the ground split open when they saw and heard that footage. I spent the next few days feeling like I was hanging on to the edge of a cliff by my fingernails. Now, of course, everyone is going to have their own personal experiences that surface to pull them under as we live through this trauma. This was one of mine. I started asking myself, how can I possibly read this Rheba story out loud next week? It's not right anymore. The tone is wrong. The game has changed. And then on Sunday, I saw footage from another incident. Yes, I spend too much time on TikTok. Also in Minnesota, from the day after Renee's murder. A young woman and her fiance had ordered DoorDash. and the delivery driver had run inside their house when she arrived. ICE agents close behind. They had already kidnapped the driver's husband. Over the course of about 30 minutes, you see the agents threatening them at the door, surrounding the house on all sides. You hear the woman filming, saying over and over and over again on phone calls and to her TikTok audience to whom she was streaming, "I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do." The couple repeatedly asked through the closed glass door for a warrant. They try to reason with the agents. They explain that their 2-year-old is in the house. They say that they're scared. The woman calls the police. She speaks to a sheriff who tells her that they should just open the door, lest they be charged with harboring the driver. There's a moment following this call where your heart just shatters into pieces because it does seem like the couple is going to give up and hand over the panicked driver. They are all sobbing. But then something shifts. As this is happening inside, outside, neighbors are gathering. The couple does open the door, but demands, "You will not come inside. You will not touch your guns again." They let one officer stand next to the porch so that he can speak to the driver in Spanish. The rest stand guard on the sidewalk. Meanwhile, neighbors continue to gather, and they blow whistles, and they film, and they shout questions to the couple and offer support. The couple keeps demanding that the agents show them a warrant. And then, becoming more forceful, they start to yell at them that they're separating families, they're shooting people. You can hear the courage building in their voices. An onlooker steps from the street onto the lawn to film more closely. An agent launches himself at her, and the woman shouts, "Do I have permission to be here?" And the woman says, "Yes, you have permission to be in our yard." And it's clear that despite her fear, she is shifting from doubt to empowerment. She yells, "I don't give ICE permission to be in our fucking yard." The couple slowly moves farther from the safety of their front door, and they shout, "We own this property. If you don't have a warrant, you don't have permission to come into our house." The woman shouts, "Literally, you just shot and killed someone yesterday, and you think we're going to take this lightly? What the fuck is wrong with you guys? My family, Native Americans, got killed. So you can put on that fucking shit and kill people?" And then her courage just explodes, and it's palpable, and she screams, "Get out! Until you have a warrant signed, get off of my fucking property now! Now!" The agents in these moments are starting to retreat to their vehicles, and the hunters have become the hunted. And in a moment that invokes absolute chills, the woman screams at the top of her lungs, "You guys are illegal on stolen land. You guys are illegal on stolen land. Illegal on native fucking land." As the agents start to drive away, she invokes a phrase in her native Dakota language and then screams at the top of her lungs, and I promise I'll stop screaming. She screams, "Do you know what that means? I am not illegal." She did it terrified. There were agents surrounding her home, fingers on triggers the whole time. And she was holding her toddler. And she wavered, but then she found it within herself to draw the line and to yell and scream and draw attention to the situation. She knew the rules. She found her bravery. She drew in supporters, and the agents ultimately left. Her name, at least on TikTok, is Stormy. I've watched this video in entirety many times. From the 911 call, it sounds like her real name is Cheyenne, but we're going to stick with Stormy. It's a real good fucking name. In the days following the encounter, she shared a photo of one of her native ancestors and told the story of how that ancestor once hid a white woman to keep her safe. She provided updates that the delivery driver was safe and that she had started a GoFundMe for the driver's husband. That fund immediately surpassed its goal of $7,500, and Stormy's following has grown, at least as of noon today, from 10,000 people to 230,000 people, because people are desperate to find goodness. And what I take from this is that people will step up and join in when they see demonstrations of bravery and humanity. Back to italics mode. Within hours of writing those last sentences on Sunday, which I had done in an attempt to keep up, I learned that the door-to-door raids had started in Minneapolis, that battering rams had come out, that unmarked vehicles were ramming and totaling cars containing innocent passengers, that the stalking and harming of protesters was increasing exponentially, that arms and legs were being broken, that a bishop has told his clergy to prepare to be martyrs. I learned that they've invaded Detroit Lakes, the Minnesota town where my grandma fed me and my cousins homemade donut holes and taught us how to play poker. Yesterday, I learned the story of Sasha Riley. And if you don't know that name, you'll be hearing a lot more of it soon. I discovered once and for all that their depravity and my rage are limitless. We are well past the "and then they came for me" part of the poem. We have been for a long time. We just didn't see all the pieces. But I am Carol's daughter, and I refuse to be intimidated. They are going to traumatize me, but they are not allowed to intimidate me. So let's all be as brave as Rheba and Stormy and Sasha and the good people both rising up in Minneapolis and supporting them from afar. Let's be the people that gather to support when support is needed. Let's be the people that rally when the circumstances call for it, even when it's terrifying, because we have to. Thank you.